Yes, I'm doing well, thank you. I am doing fine. So, the entry portfolio. First of all, I want to tell you that because I'm following some students, on a private way in training them, I've been already working with them about how they have to prepare all the work we have done together and the work they have done before to make sure that all this work put together it becomes a real entry portfolio with a very good quality so that they know that they have a good chance to get admitted into any design schools, whether it's going to be for a master program or for a bachelor program. Okay, so the good thing is that when we go and check all the work that has been done, the work is a lot. So when you have a lot of work, that's a positive thing. And we basically divide the drawings, the illustrations, and everything else to choose in order to organize them correctly into topics. The first topic is the sketches, the freehand sketches that are just done by pencil. So I'm talking about black and white sketches that you do to doodle, okay, or to search for new ideas. And then what do? We look at all of them, okay? And of course, by looking at them, I know which sketch is okay, it's good in terms of quality, in terms of technical quality, and in terms of also about creativity. And I know which one are the bad ones, or the ones that are a little bit so-so, that is much better never to integrate or to include in your portfolio. Okay, Udan is writing. Sir, which country is good in automotive and transportation design? Well, Udan, today we have good design schools in Italy. In Italy, of course, because there is a lot of automobile design companies and automobile culture. Then you have also Germany with Pforzheim, and Germany is also a great country with automobile culture. You have also Umeå University in Sweden, and also Sweden has its own automobile culture. You have, of course, USA with Art Center and CCS design schools. In which cities, Detroit and Pasadena, there is an excellent automobile culture. So, ciao Patil. So, I have to say that those countries are good, like France also, of course, because France also has an incredible automobile culture. But you have also in Spain. So, UK, Royal College, very good, Coventry, Swansea College, But Udan, we will talk about this later, okay? I just want to talk now about this entry portfolio because I really want to. I really want. There are a few things I want to say, and after you guys can ask me any questions, okay? So we were talking about the sketches. So basically, the first part it's gonna be to select all the good black and white sketches. Then we have the second part, which is dedicated to the sketches that are a little bit in color, whether they are pencil color or marker or chalk, okay? And I'm still talking about freehand. Remember, we're talking about an entry portfolio to get into a car design school, transportation design school, okay? Ciao Patil. And so it is important to show when you prepare your entry portfolio that in a way by yourself you already have some skills. So it's not enough to show good or excellent black and white sketches. Teachers and design schools want to see how good you are already on your own using markers and a little bit of color to understand how you combine the colors together, how you make shading, how you use reflections, even if you make mistakes, but they want to see, because this is also something that shows to the school that you really have a strong passion and that you really are very passionate in exercising your talents, your skills. So this is all positive things all together. And therefore, that's why, I check all those color sketches, and of course I help the hi Semi K, ciao, and I help them to select the best ones. And this time, because there is color, we have to be very careful about the cast shadow, the highlights, the way the light is cast on the car, the way the shadow is going on the car, if the composition is dynamic or static, if it really puts in value the design or the creativity that there is on that sketch, and therefore also the perspective that those sketches have. Because if they're all the same, well, then we better probably remake some sketches in different perspective so that we have a variety of perspectives, okay? And then after that, then there are some people, not everybody, but there are some people that already use Procreate or Photoshop, even if they don't use it really well, but that they try and they want to make a nice renderings, digital renderings. And therefore I go and check those too. And generally there are a lot of problems on those Photoshops, especially if you learn alone by yourself, just by looking at other people. But without somebody that can criticize your Photoshop and explain to you where is the mistake, or how you can make that Photoshop that is a little bit looking sad because it's all grayish, and make it look like very sparkling and very, how can I say, really hard to watch. And most of all, putting the focal point where you need it to be to give value to your design. Therefore, we go and analyze all this material. Then we select that material. And after we see if the person made this material thinking about projects. So in the case there are projects, I would say we can prepare like 4 or 5 projects, okay? Going from black and white sketches, color sketches. Hi pal, I'm fine, thank you, welcome back. To color sketches, and then few Photoshops just to complete as renderings. And therefore we can construct a project from the beginning to the end, adding also at the very beginning a couple of slides that will be the mood boards, inspirational boards, so that when you will be in front of people presenting your entry portfolio, you can show already that you are very ordered, in terms of projects, that you know how to start a project, starting from the mood board, sort of a briefing, explaining why those photos, that you chose and you put in your slides are inspiring the design, the creativity of that project. And then, of course, bringing the discussion and the topic on your sketches, color sketches, development, and the final rendering. Basically, that's the best logic way of preparing it, and that's what happens. Now, when we start making the mood boards, a lot of people have seen, ciao Anish, how are you? I'm fine, thanks. When we start talking about the mood board slides, so the very beginning of your project, okay, presentation, many of you make lots of small pictures, in one slide. You had many pictures, which is not a bad thing, but the thing is that they are too small, and at the end they look like lots of stamps, lots of stamps on a page without a real logic sense, the way you put those pictures. Alors, my advice in this case is don't put too many, because it's useless. It's becoming confusing, and it's a big risk for you to confuse the people at the very beginning of your presentation. So you want your presentation to be smooth, okay, to be very easy in understanding, and you don't want to talk too much, because the way we watch at your slides, we already understand from the beginning to the end what's going on. Patriots, can we add other category? Yes, we can add that at the end of your entry portfolio, okay? After the projects, okay? after the transportation project. You can also add products if you do, if you have product sketches, product ideations. If you have a beautiful pictures, you can add photos, black and white photos. If you have that passion, why not? Show your artistic eye as a photographer. Everything is art. So we are there to check how artistic, how good are your skills, and how dedicated you are on the specific topic of transportation design or product design. Okay, so I always advise to put at least 5 or 6 images high definition. So watch out about the quality of the photos that you've looked for on internet, okay? Or if you take them by yourself, take really high resolution photos with your phone or with your camera before putting them on your slides, and then try to have a very professional layout, okay, of your photos on that slide. Don't put them like a patchwork because it's gonna be confusing. The eyes will go up and down. And remember that we read every single slide from left to right, and then we come down, second line, we go left, right. Therefore, you want to make sure that when I look at your slide, it's very clear what I'm looking at. It's very clear what exactly I am directed, you know, the way I understand your subject and the way I understand the reasons behind the choice of those pictures, okay? Patil is writing. Recently I finished with my first semester jury, so I was wondering that how important are grades in design to placement and all of what will be the decent grade we can try to maintain along with. Ciao Pinga, welcome back. Ciao, I am Shivang from India. Ciao Shivang, how are you? The amazing portfolio should be more important grade. Patil, I think that you already got yourself the answer, because when you go out of school with your bachelor in your hands or your master, what it really counts are not the grades, it's your portfolio. So I wouldn't be worried. Of course, you have to be worried about your grades because school is school and the grades must be good. But most important thing is that you put together an excellent portfolio. And if you have an excellent portfolio, you will have, of course, good grades. That's normal. It goes, the two things go together. Okay? All right. So let's go back. So I have first slide, the logo of the company for which I am drawing the project, the title of my project, okay? And that's only the first slide. So you have beautiful logo, the title of the car, or the name of the car, or the name of your project. Then you have the mood boards, 1 or 2. And there we understand which is the market, you know, which is your target, and what your target likes, you know, beautiful watches, furniture. Hi Theo, we can send 2D drawings or only 3D. I will talk about that now, Theo. Thanks for the question, because I'm gonna say it now. Because a lot of people think that everything has to be digital, virtual, in 3D. It's not the case. Okay, so then after that slide, we can start with the research or sketching development. Okay, those are the title of your slides. It's very important because you will write that sketching development. I look at that slide, I know that that's when you were searching for your idea, when you were exercising your creativity. And that's a very important slide for me as a professional, because I'm gonna go and check all the ideas you had. So I'm looking at your creativity, all right? Then there is design development, because the design development is when you pick up your idea and you develop. And those ones are the marker color sketch, chalk color sketch, you know, stuff like that. And then once you develop that one, you have the final slide or couple of slides with the Photoshop rendering, if you have, okay? Now, let's talk about three-dimensional virtual modeling? Is that important for an entry portfolio, for an admission in school? No, it's not. Because the school will teach you how professionally make a virtual model. Besides, it takes time. And I don't think it's useful for you or wise that you use a big part of your time, instead of exercising your skills in drawing, that you do what? A virtual model, which you will never do at work. So try to understand the virtual modeling. It's something that we must learn. We learn this in school, but we very rarely will use it if one day we'll get a job. Because there are teams of people that are just dedicated to that. So don't worry. Don't worry too much. It's much more interesting that if you want to do a Photoshop, that you know how to make a nice Photoshop drawing illustration of your color sketch or your pencil sketch. You know how to scan your best sketch. You put it on your table, virtual table, with your pen, digital pen, and then you make a very nice rendering using Photoshop. It's much more interesting that, because it belongs always to the skills exercise of drawing. Okay? So this is very important. Really, Nisha Singh, how to render glossy reflection with marker. There are lots of videos I made on that, so you can check. Okay? But anyway, next Tuesday I will do it again. Okay? But if you go after the video on this channel, you will look for glossy marker sketch, and you will find my videos in which I make tutorials and I explain how I do it. Okay? Jan, does it help if we go how to do both though, illustration and modeling? Once again, you welcome Theo. Do you want to become a designer or a modeler? Because if you want to go to a school to become a transportation designer, you should be much more involved with sketching and rendering. If you want to go to the same school because in reality you want to become an expert in modeling, then do more modeling. That's okay. You can use Blender, some softwares that are not expensive. Some of them are free. You can download them from internet. Okay, and you can make nice models. All right, and learn how to master modeling with those softwares. Then when you go to school, you will learn probably Rhinoceros or to work with Autodesk Alias, which is our main software, professional software, which is excellent to make beautiful stuff from which you can make movies and everything else. But I repeat, at work there are other people doing that job. Of course, I understand how they work, and when we work together, on a project, and they make the models, and I have to check. It's not that I don't know anything about what they're doing. I know what they're doing. I know why they click here and there, etc. To make a modification. And that's why I can be of help in suggesting how to do sometimes. But it's not going to be me that's going to make. It's going to make that model, not me. Yang, hello Luciano. Which transportation design do you recommend? There is a beautiful video that I made, which is called Design Schools, okay? And you can find the list and the explanation for every design school. Now, I don't want to say that I have to, to say, go to that one because it's the best and the other one forget. No, because there are several schools that are doing a really good job, even if they are not on the top, but there are good people coming out, okay? So, first of all, Jay, the best part comes from you, because if you don't work your ass off, you won't make it, even if you are in the best school. But sometimes to being a best school or in one of the best schools that are also the most expensive can help, because the tools that the school can give you are more. For example, if you make models, because in schools we should all make models, but real models, okay, like a clay model or product model, you should go high S29. Therefore, we can make those models. Then some schools have really big labs, model shops, and some other schools don't have. Or if they do, they have very small model shop. Therefore, they don't make a lot of models for every project. I went to Art Center in Pasadena. I made a lot of models because Art Center is one of the best schools. If you go in some schools, for example, IAAD in Torino, they don't have a model shop. They do everything virtual, digital. It's a choice. But it's very important for any design student to learn how to become a transportation designer by making models too, with your hands. Because you learn a lot in touching the surfaces. You learn a lot about what you're doing with those surfaces according to your sketch and according to the way you did your color sketch. And then you realize the difference between reality and your sketch, and you learn from that process. Also because when you make models, there are lots of what we call knots, crossing of surfaces that on the sketch is just a marker stroke and that looks fine. But when you have a real model, they are very complicated, For example, if you look at this model, this point here, it's always very difficult. Like those parts here around the wheel, and there are some parts in the back also, in this area, that are very complicated to put together. Believe me, it's not easy. And when you make a model, you learn. So when you design and you sketch with your sections or your sketches, you learn from the sketches from the model. You understand? So that's why I encourage always people to go to a design school that does have a model shop, so that you can exercise that. All right? So coming back and completing our story about the entry portfolio, this is how we organize an entry portfolio. Basically, it's between 60 and 70 slides, okay, overall. And in those slides, we have the covers of your projects. So one slide has a cover, we said. Then we have one or a couple of slides that is the mood board, okay, so the inspirational. Then you have a couple of slides or one slide of all your sketches research, so which means all your creativity. So you scan all your sketches, you make them smaller, and you make a very nice collage, paste up on one slide so that we can see all of them, all right? And then when you get to the color sketch, you can have 2 or 3 sketch on one slide, like a side view, 3/4 front, 3/4 back. And you can make a very nice composition. And then, of course, the Photoshop, okay? And the Photoshop in general, we make only one Photoshop per slide. Like one side view with a very nice background, very nice effect, a light effect. And then you can have another slide in which you have a front and back together in perspective, for example. All right? Or in different perspective. Maybe you have a tip-up perspective, which is a very nice perspective also. So when you have all that, you already have your project. You already have your project complete. So you replicate the same scenario for the other projects. And then we have slides at the end of this book entry portfolio in which you will put extras. or miscellaneous, as American says, okay? And that's just how can I say, a collection of other work you have done. For example, you have photos of paintings because you like to paint, or you have, as I said before, nice photographs, black and white, color photograph, specific subjects, you know, or experimentation with light, nature, whatever. You can put a couple there. If you have product design or a project that is product design, maybe you put 4 slides, which is your product design. Maybe you have a thesis project done in architecture or in engineering and you put some color on the final product. You can put that in too, so that you can show what you studied before. In that case, you have a really strong entry portfolio. Okay? All right? Okay, so I hope you liked what I've talked so far. If you want to offer me a coffee with your super sticker, super chat, please do it. And thank you very much. If you have questions, it's the time that you ask the questions. Okay? We have still few more minutes together. And after I prepare myself for my online student that will be ready in a while. Okay? Yeah, ideas and inventions. Yes, Patriot. Yeah. Somebody asked me how to work on Photoshop. What a question. To work on Photoshop, you must know how to work by hand, how to sketch freehand with a pencil. If you don't know the basics of drawing, the one that I teach, and you don't know how to sketch a car really well with your hands, you cannot do on Photoshop anything, because Photoshop is just a tool. It's like another pencil that as a magic thing will give you color and everything. But to use correctly the color, to make a good perspective, to use a good line quality on Photoshop, to use the very good background, to make a very good composition, it all comes from what you do before studying the basics of drawings. Okay? Which means the basic shapes and then little by little cars and products, of course, in several perspectives. Alright? Okay. Okay, so I think I am done. Next Tuesday, don't worry, next Tuesday I will be here. We will work a little bit with markers, and I will show you again how I make glossy marker sketches, okay? So that you can see again how I do it, okay? But just in case you are very curious and you want to see it right away, you can check on this channel for glossy marker tutorial, and you will find several that I have already done 1 year ago, or a few months ago, or many years ago. Okay? Last question, Jan, tell me. I am here. Don't worry, I don't go away. I know that very well how to do a sketch freehand. That's very good, Nisha. Ciao, Abhishek. How are you? How is life? Yes, Patriot, why not? Question, what exactly is the process of becoming a design strategist? Completing Master, Bachelor. The design strategist is something that you become when you are or a manager, design manager, or when you become design director or VP design of a global company, of a big brand. You are not a strategist when you are a designer. And you cannot become a strategist when you are in school. It's impossible. Photoshop, yes, it's important to learn, Jan, but you will learn Photoshop at school with the right teachers that will really teach you how to do it professionally. So I wouldn't be that worried, you know, to be honest. Most important thing is the beginning, the hand drawing, the free hand drawing. Because if you don't master that, even the teacher on Photoshop will look at your work that will be poor because you don't know how to sketch well with that pen, and he will be annoyed, will be sad. I'm good, thanks. Oh, I'm fine, Abhishek. Thank you. Okay, so that's it. Thank you very much. I really hope that you enjoyed what we talked today. If you lost something, you can always rewind and rewatch this video. If you want to offer a coffee, you can use the super sticker, super chat, or if you want, you can use the super thanks button once this video will be definitely online like the others. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. See you next Tuesday and have a good weekend. Ciao.